The views expressed in this interview are not the views of Grieving Our Babies podcast. I'm the lovely co host, Janice Hodges Hawkins. Enjoy the show.
Welcome everybody to Grieving Our Babies podcast. I'm the host that cares the most, Calvin Hawkins. This is the space where you can come and tell your story, your pain, your journey through grief. Tonight's guest, my brother, my friend for a long time, Joey Nichols. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm all right. How you doing, my brother?
Um, I'm good. Kind of nervous getting ready to talk to you because when you told me that you needed to come on the podcast, you see how I looked at you. I was like, "Yeah, right, bro. Like, for what? Like, what's really going on? Like, you like you ain't never tell me what's going on, and then you told me, and you was like, you was going through that with your daughter, bro. So I just never said nothing. So
Yeah.
tonight you called me and you said you need to get it out. So I'm
Right.
finna give you the floor. Go on,
Um, let's
let
make a quick correction though. It's not my daughter. It was my son.
your
My
son,
son and my son and a fiance.
son and fiance. Okay,
Son and a fiance. Yes, sir.
and this happened in 1999
Yes, sir.
out there in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the floor. What
All
tell us?
right. Well, first of all, before I even get started, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank God for bringing me this far, and I'm very thankful that um we don't look like everything that we've been through. Me and you, we both been through some tragedy in our life. And I also want to say that I'm not a real religious person, but I'm very spiritual and I do have a relationship with God. And I do believe in his word. And I came up in church and I always was told that God will never put more on you than you can handle. But I've always had one question for God, and I know you're not supposed to question God, but my question has always been, why do you trust me so much? And I say that to say this, um, always through my life, I've always had to battle some type of adversity, wrongdoings and everything like that. Um, Let me give you a little backdrop about me so that people like me will speak it out, will speak, what's happening in their lives. Um, and this is the first time that I've ever said this out loud to anyone other than my mother and my stepfather. Um, I believe the reason that I am the person that I am, when I was in sixth grade, my mom had met a guy. I'm not gonna put too many names out there because I don't want no problems for you or me.
I understand.
But my mom had got with this guy, and they ended up getting married or whatever. But when they were going through their courting phase, um, his brother, he lived with us, and his brother he he raped me about
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 times. And I spoke upon it. I didn't speak on it then when I was a kid, because I've always wanted to see my mother happy. My mother seemed to be happy at the time, and I didn't want to take that happiness from her with something like that. So that was something that I held on the inside. And growing up with that hurt, that shame, that pain on me on the inside, I always said that I wanted to be the best man that I could be the best father that I could be the best husband that I could be. But, you know, um, back in 93, I had met my wife. And when I met her, we were two different people. I'm not I'm not a street person, but I do maneuver myself around in the streets. You know, she grew up in the church like I did, but she paid more attention to church than I did. So, she grew up in church, mother, dad, aunties, cousins, there was like a family affair for them. And at the time, I didn't really care for the person that I was. This is before I learned how to love myself, you know. So me and her got together, and I figured her being the person that she was, I could get with her and become a better person. I've always strived to be a better person just until recently I learned how to be a better person. But got with her, and my I'm not gonna say my inner demons because I very well knew what I was doing, but me being the person that I was, I wasn't a very good husband to my wife. And we ended up getting divorced, and I ended up moving to Nashville. This is around 97. A couple of we lost a couple of friends in 97, and you know you know who I'm talking about. We lost in 97. And and I was in that crew, so I was worried about being caught up, having to do some time and stuff like that. So I ended up moving down to Nashville. Me and my wife got a divorce. My third son, not by my wife, was born while I was in Nashville. And I met a young lady while I was in Nashville. And she taught me a lot about me, a lot about life. She told me that I was always running, trying to, be a better person. But if you can't love the person who you are, how can you improve on something that you don't really know? You know what I mean? So we got together, and, we probably courted for about a year, as friends. We never done anything. And it was a night in Memphis in May in 98 where we ended up becoming a couple, became more than friends, intimacy, all of that. And I really liked this person, and she really liked me, and I had asked her to marry me. Um, the day I asked her to marry me, she told me she was pregnant, which would have been my fourth son at that time. I got four sons now, but at this time, and when we found out it was a boy, his name was gonna be Justin. And I was very happy about it. I was looking at it like, life is gonna be all new for me. We're gonna be one big happy family. Even though I got kids in Indiana, I just have to, you know, migrate to go see them or bring them down or whatever. Um, she gave me a call on I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, it was on like a Wednesday.
Your
And
fiance,
huh?
your fiance gave you a call.
Yeah, she gave me a call. And she had went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Well, if you don't have a baby by Friday, we're gonna make you have this baby."
So their baby was, your son was full term.
He was full term. They had projected his weight to be like 10 pounds. He was a big baby,
Okay.
and I didn't know that was going to be the last time I got to talk to her. On her way home, a drunk driver with 3 drunk driving convictions was driving on the highway, and he hit her, and she lost control of the car. You know the viaducts that go over the highway, right? You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about? He hit her. She went up the little ramp thingy on the viaduct and hit the viaduct in such a way that she became decapitated. And they had called me. They had saw that she had talked to me. Cell phone technology ain't what it was back then. I mean, ain't what it is now. What it was back then. So her phone was still unlocked and all of that stuff. And my name was in her phone at work. So they called me and they told me that I needed to get to this location right away. Um, Said that she had been in an accident and she was hurt real bad. So I left work and I went to where they told me to go to. And I got there just in time to see them pulling her body out of the car in the black bag. They bagged her up in the car. But it was 2 people holding her and one person like slipped and I could see weight on one end of the bag, weight on the other end of the bag, nothing in the middle, you know. And when I saw that, I just took off walking, left my car running. I'm walking down the middle of the highway. Well, I was on the, not in the middle of the highway, but I'm walking down the highway.
On the emergency lane.
Yeah, but not the, what do you call it? The shoulder. And I don't know how long I walked. I know it was daytime when I got there. It was dark when I finally stopped walking. And I tried calling her cell phone, and her mom answered the phone, and she told me she's gone. The baby's gone. They both gone. And so, we had to bury them. They had a little trial for the guy who hit her. He ended up doing like 58 days, and they used it as time served. When you got a little piece of money, you get a different justice than the. Average person. And I felt like him taking away lives of my unborn baby and my fiance was just unacceptable to me. So I went out and I got me a gun. I went to this man's house. I'm looking in all the windows. I finally find the room that he's in. I tapped the window with the gun. He raised up and he could see me. I'm looking right at him like I'm looking at you right now. I went to squeeze the trigger and nothing happened. At that second, God let me know this is not for me. Vengeance is not yours, it's mine. Because I had forgot to take the safety off the gun. That's why he didn't get shot.
Man, bro.
And then after that had happened, I was already coming back to Indiana about About every 6 weeks or so to come see my kids that was, born here. Well, them rides went from every 6 weeks to about every 2, 3 weeks to every week till I finally never went back to Tennessee. And I came back to my wife, because she was really the only person I could talk to, who I trusted, who didn't look at me crazy, who comforted me. And we ended up getting back together. We got remarried. We ended up having 2 more kids. And it's just I right now, with me having a daughter in college, it's probably the hardest thing that I've had to deal with, other than having to deal with Justin's death, because I've never had my daughter where I couldn't put my hands on her when I wanted to. And I mean, yeah, she's 3 hours away, but you know what I'm saying. She's not in
Yeah.
the house. You miss that. And man, it's crazy, man. I think about this all the time. And then, like, when you went through everything you did with your daughter, I wanted to so much just take your pain away, because I knew what I went through, and it still bothers me today. It's not, grieving is something that you can't put a time limit on. You can't say how this person gonna grieve as opposed to the next person, because everybody's different. You know, death hits people differently. I just buried my great aunt, who I considered to be like my grandmother. She was 97 years old. And, I'm a very realistic person. I know when different things are going on in life, as far as illnesses or people's behavior and stuff like that. I know there's life is not sweet. I try to tell my kids that all the time: get your education, get all that you can, so that you don't have to go through a lot of the stuff that I went through. I'm not an uneducated man, but I'm not educated enough for today's society. I have a handicap that I don't let stop me from doing anything. But the one thing that it does stop me from is being able to work. So I'm thankful that my hands are blessed enough that I know how to cook, how to barbecue, how to get out here and get it without doing anything illegal. But yeah, you know, I, I, I did that backdrop because a lot of people look at somebody and they feel like, wow, they really got it going on, or he just don't know. Yes, I'm very blessed. I'm thankful for everything I got, but at the same time, I'm a broken person. I know that I'm a broken person, and
I know both of us are, because it's times that me and you call each other and we
yeah,
having it hard. And that's why I said, what you mean you want to come over here? I've been around you how long? Almost 40 years.
since you was like 14, 15 years old, when you and Janice was running around wearing cross colors and Mickey Mouse T-shirts and stuff. I
I
remember that.
almost 40 years and I never knew this. Like,
I mean,
and we
it's
talk
it's a,
daily,
it's something that you
every day.
don't really talk about, but at the same time, if my story can help somebody, man, just one person, if it can help them, uh, hold on to their child a little bit stronger, or not let their child go do something, or or if they already done been through a tragedy and they look at me and be like, man, I see him in the community barbecuing all the time. I didn't know he went through that. Maybe me and him can talk and, whatever. I'm a very approachable person. I'm willing to help anybody. I'm willing to talk to anybody about what's happened in my life. I've had two stepfathers. One of my stepfathers put a gun in my face because he was beating on my mother and I tried to stop him. Just unbelievable stuff that I've been through, and it's crazy, but I'm thankful that I'm in my right mind. I don't want to hurt nobody. You know, I've forgiven everybody who's ever done anything wrong to me because I realized that forgiveness ain't for the other person, it's for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much energy out of you to continue to be angry with somebody, to have not necessarily hatred unless that's what you're feeling, but to have some kind of animosity towards somebody. That takes an unspeakable amount of energy to do that.
Yeah, it
When
was
all you
crazy,
could
boy. It
when
gave me a heart attack.
Yeah, when all you had to really do was just say, "Hey man, I forgive you for what you done," or I for I accept your apology, or you know just to get that off of you, to get that spirit off of you, man. I've seen I've seen how you've grown in the last couple of years, as far as becoming uh, uh I don't use this term lightly, but you become a role model in the city. It's a lot of people who look up to you because you wasn't scared to fight the impossible fight. You were able to overturn some stuff that people thought could never be overturned, and you never gave up. Even when probably your family didn't believe in you, when your friends didn't believe in you. I'm sure your wife always believed in you, but she may even had a doubt or two in her life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Scared because she thought they were going to kill me. Because I had got to the point where you never know how far on the edge that you are until you finally go teeter with it, look over and just jump. And that's what I
right,
did. And then she seen me. I was like, I told her I was tired, bro. I was like, I went bump my life insurance policy up, and I said, you know what? I'm ready to die. They ain't gonna have to
wow,
kill me about this, baby. And I said,
wow.
I'm not finna stop.
Mm. No, you can't, man. I'm glad you didn't. And you're an inspiration to me because you a strong dude, man. You a very strong dude. You know, you got kids that look up to you. With the baby bumper bowling. You got kids that look up to you. A little bit older kids who starting to get their cars, and they done looked at you through the years with the hooked up cars and the sounds and friends you done did that for, and they want a piece of that in their life. Then you got the people who want to do what you do. You know, and I've heard people say, "Man, I want to learn how to do this. I want to do that." And that's a beautiful thing. Where you're able to give back. I got a couple of kids that come talk to me, whether they sincere about it or they just want a free meal or whatever. Either way it goes, if they want to learn my trade, I'll teach them how to barbecue and cook and all that stuff. You know, because one thing about knowledge, you had to pass it on to somebody else. You can't hold it to yourself. You can't, because when you gone, you gone.
Right.
And if you go with that knowledge, then that knowledge is gone. What's missing in this world right now, and this is my honest opinion. I don't have no opinion for nobody else, but this is my opinion. What's missing in the world right now is people who don't want to step up, whether they with their own biological kids or their step kids or even some kid. There's always somebody that looks up to an adult and they looking for you for guidance. You might think that's that kid that getting on your nerve or whatever, but he looking for some guidance. They looking for something. And a lot of these men today won't step up and be that. You know, I since my wife died, I probably had realistically 100 people, 150 people come up to me and say, "I'm very proud of you for being a father to your kids." And I understand what they're saying, but don't
That's your job,
congratulate me for something that I'm supposed to do.
right? That's your job.
That's they didn't ask to be here, but me being being their father and their mother, I have a strong responsibility. You know, I don't want, and I got up in New Hope and I told them this. Uh, I may not have been the best husband. I know I wasn't. You know, but I've never failed my kids. Not near none of them. I've never failed 'em. And I'm thankful that I've always had the means and the strength and the courage to be able to do that because you know as well as I do, being a father is not an easy job.
No,
You know,
especially not in this society nowadays, and they have bad influence of kids. You can tell them one thing, you can raise them one way, you can tell them what to do and the right things to do. But once they go outside, they have to put that to use. But sometimes they get overtaken by the people that's outside.
exactly. That's why in the Bible it say, and I don't quote scriptures, but I'll be knowing what they say, and I might not say it word for word, but I know you'll know what I'm saying. And I've always heard that if you train a child up the way he's supposed to, he's not going to veer far from it. Or make it even simpler, they say the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Right. Because
So
he
if you teach,
bad.
so if you teaching your child the way he should carry he or her should carry themselves with dignity, pride, respect, know right from wrong, teach them all about integrity. You know, you still gonna worry about them going out in the world, but you don't have to worry about them as much because you know what your child would do. A lot of people who go off and be talking about what their kids ain't gonna do, they got the right idea. They just don't have the right mentality behind it. When you hear somebody, you tell them, "Hey, little poo poo out here doing whatever," and the first thing they got to say is, "No, not my child."
Yeah, they
But
don't
if
want to
you
listen to it.
No, they don't want to listen to it. But that's the right mentality to have if you've raised your child right. If you know what little cow will do and won't do. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody came to you and said, "Uh, your child just got caught stealing at Walmart." Oh no, that ain't my child. I know better than that.
And
You
I'm going to
know,
call
and you gonna call and find out, right?
or I'm
And
going to
that's
go over there because we just had a situation and I'm steady getting phone calls about them right now.
uh,
Somebody then hacked his name and they're in jail and they're using his name and they calling me and asking me, "Is this my son?" I was like, he don't leave the house, man. He's at home. I was like, all the stuff you think we done went through and steady going through. Come on,
mm,
man. I said, don't send whoever that is no money because that's not him.
right. And that's a shame too that people with this internet, it's it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. because with this internet, people are able to do any and everything that their imagination will allow them to do.
Yes.
And as kids, we couldn't wait till on Saturday to do our chores and run outside and be outside all day. Don't even want to come in the house to eat, go to the bathroom or nothing. You gotta dang that put these kids at gunpoint nowadays to make them go outside. They want to be all they want to do is hold their phone, be on the phone, pressing buttons. If they was getting a thumb fight with anybody, these kids around here can kill somebody with them thumbs. You know how strong they is from texting and all of that stuff. But they don't know nothing about going outside and hearing crickets, looking at the sun go up and come down, and going out
Getting
to the
together
beach
in
and
the
look at the
field,
water.
playing basketball and football with each other and stuff.
All
Remember, I mean,
all of that.
there used to be Eastports versus Canada and all that stuff, and West Side and against all of us and stuff, playing basketball, just having a good time with each other, laughing. Like
Right.
they don't even know nothing about what we used to have that community swim and stuff. Go there and
Right.
community swim
Exactly.
and everything. No,
All of
none of
that.
that.
Then when as a kid, I grew up spending my summers down in Tennessee, with my aunts and stuff. And down there, man, they had this thing called recreation. And in the summertime, what it was from 9 until 3, you go to this community center or whatever. They're gonna feed you. They're gonna help to sharpen your skills up for school. They had a tutoring situation up in there. And then, they had a basketball team, a baseball team, a softball team, not baseball, and they had a kickball team. And the whole community, where I'm from down in Tennessee, it's a small town. It's probably in between the size of Westville and LaPorte, somewhere up in there, that size. But like they truly are a town where it takes a village to raise a child. They're really on that. So like if at the recreation we would have games, the whole city would come out, you know, and it was a beautiful thing. It gave you a whole new sense of pride. It made you feel good about yourself that somebody was willing to invest their time to come see what you're doing. You know, excuse me for saying,
Thank
excuse me, thank you. These allergies, man, this weather, man, I swear. But we don't have that. We don't have programs for these kids to be able to do something. It was a guy when I was a kid down in Tennessee. He would come through with the wagon, a horse, and he sold watermelons. But he also would ask us, do we want to come to the orchard, pick apples, pick plums, pick peaches? He had all of that. And he was like, you can either sell them or you can pick them and bring them home or whatever. He just wanted help with his cart with people to, get stuff. And you don't have that nowadays. I see, as a kid, I used to cut grass, I used to rake leaves, shovel snow.
you. Snow.
You don't
They
see
not doing like that. They ain't
no,
gonna do
you don't see kids doing that. You see people my age with landscaping businesses that they done made up from at the house doing that stuff. And I love people with entrepreneurial spirits because I got an entrepreneurial spirit. I want to see everybody win. I believe in keeping the dollar in your neighborhood. It ain't necessarily got to be the black dollar or whatever because it ain't about that. But if you reinvest into your community will always grow. And that's what I believe in. Looking at these people, with the different barbecue services like I do, the catering services, the lawn service, you know, these daycares. Hey, my hats off to all these women around here with these daycares. They really doing it. And, it's a lot of black owned daycares here in Michigan City, and I'm proud of that because these women are really doing it. But I say that to say this: if the people who are influential in our city, who have these businesses and they have some say so and they got a little notoriety in the city, why can't we come together and come up with something? It's cool what's going on over there at the Hope Building over on the west side. That's cool, but it needs to be more. It needs to be an outreach situation where we reaching out, grabbing people. I like what Mike Lark got going on with the boxing. Like I said, I love what you got going on with the babies and bowling and stuff like that. Y'all in the community, but it's still not to take nothing away from y'all, but it still needs to be more. It needs to be something where we're reaching out to not only the kids but the parents, because if the kids hear the parents saying something negative about somebody or whatever, they not gonna go for it. With my youngest son, I be listening to some of his conversations. He I said something to him about somebody who I felt like he was disrespecting. I called him out on it. And he told me, I'm not respecting nobody unless they respect me. And like I had to explain to him, even though you don't look like a child, you're still a child. I said, and everybody has a position in life where they're supposed to be. Positions change, but right now you're a child. You gotta stay in the child's place. So if a grown up says something to you, yes ma'am, no, yes sir, no ma'am, no sir, or whatever, handle it like you've been taught. If you have a problem with that person, come see me and let me handle it. You don't get you don't get the opportunity to be disrespectful to a grown up or to a teacher or something like that. And we we as parents, all parents don't stand on that no more. They hand the kid a phone
They're younger,
or
bro.
huh?
It's because they're younger. They're younger
Right.
parents, and then they don't want to have, man. Have you seen them 2 year olds? You give them a phone, man, and they go straight to YouTube or something, man. They getting raised by the phone.
Man, I know somebody personally that's like that. I'm not gonna speak their name, but
Now we ain't gonna speak no names, but they are
but the phone
digital
the phone
kids.
and the tablet then raised them.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you might be getting A pluses in iPhone, but you can getting F's in school. So what's gonna save you, the iPhone or school?
I bought all them coloring books and all that stuff for them kids, man. When I was over there, a lot of kids was taking it. I tried to give it to this young man. He was like, "Man, a coloring book." He said, "Man, who does that, dude? You 6."
Right.
And then so I walked to him, and I was like, "Hey, man, what did you mean you don't want that?" He said, "Man, ain't nobody playing with no coloring book." I said, "You 6 years old." So I said something to his mom. I said, "I tried to give him a coloring book and stuff." And oh, he don't do that. I said, "I see where you get it from." I said, "Okay." I said,
Exactly.
somebody else will take that. Don't worry about it."
Exactly. And all you can really do is pray for them, man. Like they say, the children are our future, but with the
We take
man,
chances, bro. Yeah, I love these kids. We taking chances if they have to raise us or take care of
man,
us.
man, what you said, what you
Oh
said,
yeah,
yeah,
you didn't, man. All that you've been holding inside, and you've been with me this whole time. I'm. I just thank you for being there for me
hey
and
man,
keeping me out
no
of
problem,
trouble.
man. Man,
Cause it's
you've been
funny,
there for
man.
me too.
You got me out of trouble.
I'm just glad you did like I said and not what I did. That's all.
Yeah.
And that's that's even though we should lead by example, but we should instill enough. I don't want to say fear because it shouldn't be fear, but we should instill enough respect in our kids for adults and for parental authority that yeah, your word is the law, not what you see me doing, not but doing what I say and not what I do. That's a good situation, but we as parents still have to be a shining example of what you should do. And I,
Yeah.
I know I fall short of it. I know I do. But my kids can't say that daddy ain't try. They see me get up here every day. And I walk you know me, I walk with a walker. But I do more than most people who got all good limbs and legs and can walk and everything.
It's because you're
It's
making an effort.
right, right. And I've never been a lazy person. I've always wanted to have mine. You know, it's a funny story I want to tell about my dad if it's okay.
No, man, because you grieving pops too. This is grieving our
Yeah,
baby podcast. It don't have to be a child. That's why I keep telling you, it be mom, grandparent, pops.
yeah. My dad, he been gone 13 years. And each day it don't get easier, but some days are better than others. But me and my dad are twins. We look if he was sitting here
Exactly. I'm
next
like,
to me,
no, I know, pop. I know, pop.
we look exactly alike. So when he passed away, I probably went about a month,
I'm like,
maybe
give me some
2
light.
months without looking in the mirror.
Give me some light.
Oh,
Cause
I'm sorry.
there you go.
Yeah, I probably went about 2 months without looking in the mirror because I didn't want to look at the face of my dad. But as a kid, back to the story, and this makes me laugh, but he taught me a lot about it. I was like about 15 years old. My dad used to let me get the car because I used to have to take my stepmom around because she didn't have a license at the time. And I knew I've been driving since I was 14. But this particular weekend, the little girl down the street, she, we was like crushing on each other or whatever. And she asked me, could I take it to the drive-in? I said, let me ask my dad if I can get the car, but yeah, I believe we can do that. So I go home and ask my dad, say, can I get the car tonight? He was like, yeah, son, ain't no problem. I told him, I said, yeah, the girl down the street want me to take it to the drive-in. How you you know that with your son. And so I went outside and washed the wax the car, came in the house, took me a shower, went in my dad's room, put on some of that cheap cologne I done bought him for Christmas and all that stuff. And then I went to my dad, I said, hey man, I'm finna get ready to leave. He said, okay, be back home by 12. I said, yeah, I can do that. Then I say, Dad, I'm getting ready to go on this date, I'm getting ready to go, to the drive-in. Can I get, about $40, $50? He looked me square in my eye and I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna clean it up. My dad looked me square in the eye and he told me, he says, I'm not the one making love to her. But that ain't, you know what I'm
I
saying? We
know what he
didn't.
said.
He said, and my mouth dropped because I was like, dang, But he was like, what I will do is loan you $40, $50. You get up in the morning, cut my grass, go over to both your aunties' houses, cut their grass, wash their cars. We might be able to call it even then. I was like, bet. But he taught me a lesson when he told me that. He taught me the lesson of having my own so I don't have to ask nobody for nothing. He taught me to stand up on my own too. Then, and I was too young to go get a job at McDonald's or anything like that. But I started cutting grass all the time. I had like 25 people lined up for cutting grass every weekend when I go over there. I would do the same with shoveling snow, raking leaves, whatever, washing cars. I always tried to keep some money in my pocket. I always tried to instill that with my kids. I said, yeah, y'all see me work hard, then y'all come ask me for some money and I give it to you. But if you come work with me, you can make a whole lot more money and you can see how to make money so that when you do need some money, you can get out here and get it. And I got here for the kids, they last year they did it a couple of times, but I got a snow cone machine, ice cream machine, popcorn machine, big coolers where they can sell lemonade or iced tea. I showed them how to make freeze cups. You know, I'm like, we live in the hood. We got kids walking up and down the street all day. We got a park right next door. There's no reason why y'all should be broke.
Right, because I see you have them bring that to the shows too when I be throwing them shows.
Yeah,
When we
definitely.
work together doing them shows, we've been doing that together. I
Yeah.
don't know how it's been 10 plus years now. Me and you
Yeah,
been
that's
doing
what I'm gonna
it.
say.
I was like, man,
At least 10 years. And
it's like
that's at
who you want
least.
to do that? I was like, shoot, Big Joe. We together for real, like all the time. And like
Yeah.
even when I have to do them all the time shows, I call them like I'm not coming. If Big Joe not coming, they was like, bring them.
And I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
So yeah,
Yeah,
man. That thanks for calling me tonight for your story. I'm
no
shocked.
problem, bro. No problem, my brother,
And
man.
you like, "Hey, I've been trying to get you on here, what, 6, 7 months, but you said, no, I
Yeah,
need to do it tonight. What are you doing?" I was like, I'm not in the studio, but give me about 5 minutes. I'm on my way. I'm going in the studio, make
that's
sure I
exactly what you
get stuff
said.
situated. So
Yeah, man. It's just, I just really felt like it was time for me to share my story. I definitely feel better releasing that, not only to you, my brother, but to your listening audience, and being able to tell my story and let you know that as long as you stay prayed up, as long as you keep moving, you're not gonna let your circumstances
oh,
define who you are.
yeah, man. Because if that's
And
the case,
that's
both should be gone.
yeah, we got it. We had to keep moving, man.
Yeah,
This thing's bigger than us. You know, yeah, we both lost a child, but I at the time I had three other kids to deal with. Plus, end up coming home making two more. At the time of your tragedy, you had what,
two.
two? Two? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and two and a wife.
And then
It was
she was killed by in front of my 13-year-old, man. When I got to the scene, my 13-year-old had the blood on him. I was like, man, what is that? He was like, it's Keisha dad.
man.
Yeah.
I
So
know
at
my son.
times I have to fly down. He'll call my phone or he'll call his mom phone. He's like, y'all better get down here. Somebody now. Like I'll be like, what's going on? He said, I'm seeing her.
Yeah, my oldest son. He seen the whole thing happen. He came home to me crying. I'm like, at first I was like, why is you home? Because you home early. And he told me what was going on that night. And I just was like, I I I couldn't, all the words I could have said was gone because it just shocked me because it might not have been that day I had just seen y'all, but I want to say y'all had ordered salads or something from me.
He probably was down at the shop cooking some food.
Yeah, something like that. I want to say I had just seen her,
Yeah.
like the day before or whatever, and it was just like, it's all murder is bad. All don't get me, but murder of a child is like, why you done took this whole child's life away,
for nothing.
for nothing.
And
You
then
know,
87 days later, I find my dad dead because he died from a broken heart.
mm,
And I was the one that found him.
man,
7 days later.
yeah, like I said, that's another one of them situations. Like I said, God ain't gonna never put too much on us that we can't bear, but He sure trusts us a lot.
Right. I gotta keep going because we for one, we too old to get in trouble. Too old to get in trouble. Look at our beards, man. We gray.
Right.
we, we look like Claude Ray out here on on life
See,
with our
look at
and then we
we
got these
on
other
deck.
babies and stuff to take care of. We can't get in no trouble.
Nah, we can't do that. And it's just it's a man, you laughing about the gray hair. That's a blessing for us, man.
Yeah,
We
we made
both
it.
came up in a time where a 21-year-old black male it was a rarity. A 21-year-old black male not in prison was definitely a rarity.
Right.
You
Now,
know,
21-year-old black males, they not even making it to 15. They really not making
no.
it to 11.
A lot of these kids, man, and you can ask them. I was watching something on TV, and the lady asked. She had a group of kids, and she asked the kids, "What do you expect to be? What's your plan? What do you plan to be doing in the next 5 years?" And like most of them was like, "Hopefully, we'll be living." You know, for
That's
a
terrible.
child, yeah, for a child to say that, I know as when I was a kid, probably into my 20s, I felt like I was invincible. I felt like I was gonna be the one that was never gonna die, even though people were saying, "Oh man, you ain't gonna make it. The way life is, I heard so much negativity in my life, man, where I'm. It surprises me sometimes that I'm able to do what I do. I'm able to be here for my kids. I'm able to, not be bitter with life. And I'm truly thankful for that. That I'm not bitter towards life, even though I can look back at my life and there's more good times than bad times, but the bad times are really bad times.
Yeah.
You know, I've, I think I've shared with you before. I've been homeless twice in my life.
Yeah, I've been
You
there a
know,
couple times. Me and her, me, my wife and the kids, man.
man. And it's just
And we still pushing through. So
that's what's up, man. You
still,
know,
and we talk to each other every morning anyway. So
right?
so we cool.
Yeah, and another thing I appreciate you for is that morning word, man. I look forward to that every day.
Yeah,
I send it to my,
I
I
don't push
send it.
that out. I get phone calls or texts like, "Hey, bro, you might be sleeping something, but you better get up and push play or push go or something on your phone." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, man. Like my bad."
Yeah, I send that to my mom and my son and my daughter all the time. You know,
I sent it to 47 people, and then they sent it to I don't know how many people, and then
that-
uh other people they send it out to everybody, but they know my signature because they got the praying hands, then they have the strong arm right there with the 100 with the heart. That's me
right?
writing those prayers, man, and sending them out to everybody. Sometimes I even see them go up on Facebook.
Yeah, I posted a couple of them on Facebook before.
So yeah, well, brother, it was nice. You got anything else to say?
Man, I love you. Uh, have a happy Thanksgiving. You know, continue to stay prayed up. Continue doing good things. Um, and it's only gonna get greater, man. I see greatness in you, man.
I appreciate
You
that.
know, just keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate that.
And
But go ahead. You
and
finna say something silly. I knew that was gonna happen.
stay about them shorts, man. That's all I got. I'm
Man,
saying.
I ain't got time for you, bro.
Stay about them shorts, man. That's all I can say.
Well, this concludes another episode of Grieving Our Babies podcast. I'm the host that cares the most. Signing off. Until next time.
Be blessed.
You too.
All right.
This concludes tonight's episode of Grieving Our Babies podcast. Come back and join us on this journey of healing. Grieving Our Babies podcast, where your voice matters, your pain is acknowledged, and together we find strength in sharing our stories. Go subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram at Grieving Our Babies podcast. Remember, you're not alone. We're here with you, listening, understanding, and grieving together. If any parent want to come on the show and tell their story, go to Grieving Our Babies podcast invite@gmail.com. Until then, I'm the host that cares the most, Calvin Hawkins.